Hi there, and welcome to the Y Factor podcast.
Wait, sorry, what are we talking about?
The Y Factor podcast. It's where young elected politicians, or YEPs, share how they're making real changes across Europe.
Alright, I'm in. Let's hear what the future sounds like.
Hello and welcome to YEPs on the Ground, the podcast that brings young voices to the heart of Europe. Dear listeners, for our final episode, we made a promise, we teased a surprise, and today we're delivering because today I'm pleased to be with Kata Tüttő, the President of the European Committee of the Regions. Kata, thank you for joining us. It is a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you for the invitation. I gladly came.
Great. Kata, a few months ago, all of us, COR trainees, had the chance to meet you and get to know you a little bit. And from that very first moment, we were amazed by how many hobbies and passions you have, from climbing to nature photography, for example. And that got us thinking, with that many interests, she could have easily followed a completely different career path. And we're curious, today we'd like to ask you, what do you think, if you hadn't gone into politics, what career path do you think you would have had followed?
I think a lot about that because as a politician, you always want a plan B. You always prepare. Every election, you always prepare for a plan B. When I was around 11, I wanted to follow my favorite writer, Gerald Darrell, to be a biologist. I wanted to do something with nature. Then I realized I'm more interested in human biology. So I always say that if I wouldn't be a politician, probably I would be a family doctor because it's very similar to politics. You meet people, you touch people, and you try to limit their suffering, and you do it until the last day of your life. So.
Nice. And with all of these possibilities, being a biologist, being a doctor, what is it that made you choose politics?
I wanted to be a scientist, okay? But the grown-up scientists at Kata, it was nature sciences, physics, biology I was interested in. They told me, look around. How many women do you see here? Not many. Probably there's a reason for that, because maybe it is not for women. This is what they told me. And then in Hungary, the Hungarian Socialist Party approached me and they said, look, Kata, look around. There aren't many women in politics. And that is a problem. That's not good. So please come, we will help you, support you, because it's better for society to have more women in politics. This is how I ended up in politics.
How interesting. And in relation to what you said about being a politician, during our first plenary as Spring 2025 trainees group, we had the chance to witness your nomination as President of the European Committee of the Regions, becoming only the second woman to ever hold this position. And it is impossible to forget about your speech. You talked about the fact that we should never dismiss real life experiences. You are very open about your commitment towards women and the everyday challenges they still have to face. So having this in mind, and now that a few months have passed since the beginning of your mandate, we'd like to ask you what are the three main policy priorities that are currently guiding your mandate and will continue to guide it?
Yeah. If I have to find a trinity, so three things, because it's like a really multi-dimensional polycrisis. So it's not, I cannot choose three policy priorities. I will do something for women, that's for sure, but that's different. As a politician, I have this duty. If I have to find three things, it would be three virtues that are guiding my work, okay? One is responsibility. This is time for everyone to take more responsibility. The second is balance. This is what we do in politics. We balance many, many different things. We are now the force who brings the decentralization into a system that is getting very more abstract and very centralized. We are the ones who need to bring this energy of balancing energy to the system. And the third one is concordia. So, it's cohesion, it's social cohesion. So these are the things I want to invest into cooperation, into connecting leaders, into cutting a new path in politics, showing that politics is not just about polarization, it's not just about division, it's not just about fear-mongering, it's not a reality show without reality. this is our duty, this is our responsibility. I want to build on these three virtues.
We'll keep in mind balance, responsibility,
and concordia.
And concordia then.
Cohesion, yeah.
Yes. And with all of these subjects, could you share with us an example of a project that inspired you since you joined the Committee of the Regions?
Okay, I'm around for a long time. And I have a lot of friends and a lot of stories because what we do, we share our survival stories here. This is what we do as politicians. We bring change, and change is hard, and we want to see that if we can survive this change. So we watch others, how they survive. Are they re-elected or not? And the biggest test of survival is that if people say that it was better before or not. And if people say that they wouldn't go back in the past with that public space, then you're successful. But okay, what gives you an awe moment in politics and in life? Okay, it's two things. The awe moment you have when you see a hero's journey. Okay, when you see someone, a leader, a politician, a city, who tries to reach the unreachable star, who completes the mission impossible. This is a hero's journey. This is what the mission cities do when a city says that I will become climate neutral by 2030, and you see in your work that that's a mission impossible, and you see it's not, and you feel like, wow, like awe. The other thing that makes you this awe feeling is when someone sees something you don't. Okay, and I had this imprinting memory from Vienna 15 years ago, so it's not fresh. Then they said that they noticed, the city of Vienna, that teenage girls are missing from the playgrounds, from the public spaces, that they noticed that girls are there until the age of 10, 11, 12, but the teenager girls are missing. They noticed it. So they went and asked girls, why aren't you using public spaces? And they changed the public space according to it. And that for me was something new, noticing that someone is missing. It was a very transformative experience.
Yeah, it looks like a very interesting study as well. And moving on to a new section of our episode, we'll talk about water. Water, as you know, is such a vital part of life. But it feels like it is often treated as a separate issue, something disconnected from bigger environmental goals such as protecting biodiversity or climate adaptation. So, in your view, how can we make sure that water policy intersects with climate adaptation or protecting biodiversity at the local level?
Yeah, well, water is the main source of my anxiety as a local leader. I was managing water issues. I'm still managing water issues in Budapest. You know, we always had these times. In COVID, we woke up every morning and checked about masks and vaccines. Then in the energy crisis, we woke up and checked gigajoules and kilowatts and prices. We still do that. And with water, it's the same every morning. You check precipitation. Okay, will you have water? Will you have rain? Or will you have too much rain? What's with your river? I have this big Danube river, and the water level is critical for everything. Okay, how we approach it. Why do we bring stuff to the European level, like water? First, we bring to the European level, I usually say it's like lifting it up. We lift things up to see it from all different angles. This is why you lift up things. You want to see the things from all the angles it's possible, and also all the things that they are connected to. Because if you lift it up, you see all the different things that it is connected to. We say we put a spotlight on things, but what does it mean symbolically? When you look at crises, these are the modern dragons we have. What you want to do is you want to face your dragons. You want to pull them out to the sunlight, to see them, to confront them voluntarily, and to see how many heads they have. And what tools do you need to encounter it and bring a new order into chaos. This is what we do. This is what we do on water. So we put it in the spotlight, understand it from all dimensions, all perspectives, see what it is connected to, and we do our best with the tools we have to have affordable, clean water for everything it's needed for.
You actually made a perfect transition for my next question, because you were touching a little bit about the European level. I wanted to ask you, how can we ensure that water is addressed as part of a holistic, integrated strategy at the local level, but also at the national, European, and perhaps global level as well?
Oh, this is why we do it. This is why we lift it up. So we see all the connections. We have these super ambitious targets. So we aim for the highest target. This is having affordable, clean water for all. For some cities, some citizens, this seems a trivial thing, an everyday thing. Well, it is not for most of the people. And it will be more and more scarce for even those who had plenty of water. This is what we face in Budapest. So we never had any anxiety about water, floods from time to time. But there was like never a time when we didn't have enough water. And just this morning, I was just talking to our waterworks company about, okay, what will happen in the next weeks, because it's super hot. We don't have enough water. The Alps water tanks are empty. What will happen next? Preparing for this, that's not an easy task. And of course, who will pay for all the preparedness, all the security issues? So a lot of things you have to consider. There are a lot of dilemmas. And you have to make decisions. And if you decide one, it also always has a price.
It does. And in relation to what you just said about the fact that till today, a lot of people are struggling with clean and affordable water, I'd like to ask you, how can we make sure that water access and affordability are treated as social and environmental justice issues?
Well, this is what we try to do on the European level. So we say it is part of our critical infrastructure. We say that we have to invest public money in it to make it accessible, make it affordable for everyone. We only do this with public goods. So, and when it has a very strong social aspect.
Thank you. And for our final question, we'll ask something personal again. I would like to ask you if you could give an advice to young people like us who want to get involved in politics but are scared to feel disconnected or feel excluded by the current system. What first steps can they take in order to stay motivated in a world that feels, or in a space that often feel out of reach?
I don't give advices normally, and I won't give an advice. I would just tell you what I understand about the world and what I observe, okay?
Okay.
Those who run for office and get elected, they hold the power to shape the institutions. And the institutions we build, it's based on our personal experiences, on our perception of the world. The structures we build, who are elected and have power, are formed by our experiences. And new generations always have new experiences. If you don't come and don't claim this power, this is a power struggle. The institutions will be stuck with past experiences, because this is what happens. We always build the institutions for the past, and they always get outdated. So what do we have to do? We always have to readjust the institutions. Okay. It has to be through a struggle. It's very important. The young generation's duty in society is to always question the institutions, the status quo. That is the duty, and that is the responsibility towards society as a whole. Because if you don't come, if you don't question, if you don't do the power struggles, society will be stuck and there will be no survival. So it is a duty. It is a responsibility, and you have to understand that it always requires sacrifice. It's always through struggle. But still, I was encouraged as a woman to come to politics. So it is important that my generation understands that it's our survival story to get your generation and the new generations to come integrated and somehow pool, but still it has to be a struggle. There has to be some sacrifice involved because that process is very important. So this will work.
We'll continue questioning then. Thank you very much. And thank you for having participated to this podcast. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you very much for inviting me anytime.
And that's a wrap on this special episode and on Yeps on the Ground. It has been a pleasure to do this episode, and we hope our guests felt heard, but also inspired along the way. This may be our last conversation, but it doesn't end here. Dear listeners, keep raising your voices. Europe needs them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Nice job.